Hello, and welcome to the Reactor. Alright, so I decided to go back to the beginning. 1995 is when this album was released, and I think they were working on the band for several years. I think 86, I think, is when it all began. It went through many band members here and there and everywhere, and Ackerfeld was really the only one that stuck around for the entirety of Opeth's history. So this is, from what I understand, is black metal and more to do with the occult and Satan stuff and weird black magic things and all kinds of cool occulty type stuff. Not that the band members really divulged in any of it, but they just liked the way that the riffs and the sounds, evil sounds and evil chords and things like that sounded good, so they went with it. So here's the original Opeth. This is Orchid, and In the Mist She Was Standing. Now this particular album, no mention if it was any kind of had any kind of storyline other than the fact that it was just evil sounding, and so I'm not sure if there's a story behind it, but as a visionary creator type person, this may end up being a bunch of little short stories or one big story. I don't know yet. We'll just listen and see what happens. And links below and comments and do the things. You know the thing. All right. Oh, that's awesome. So, you know, even after everything that I've heard about the first two albums that were like, you know, they weren't so great, this is pretty absolutely fantastic. The only major difference that I'm hearing is you know, the recording is it's a little dry. Not much space that they typically have for all the instruments. It's very kind of like one size fits all kind of sound, and the vocals are a little harsh, a little high pitched harshness. Some of that tinny feeling is going on, but aside from that, this is absolutely for their first debut. I gotta say, you know, they've got all the. I was expecting just a little more, just raw kind of sound, but with less complexity than normal. But I'm hearing a lot of complexity. There's so many chord progressions happening throughout this whole song. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The intro sounded a lot like Number of the Beast from Iron Maiden. Had a lot of. It sounds a lot like the original Iron Maiden. You know, it was pretty raw and had a nice, you know, kind of garage band feel to it. You know, it was kind of had that unique sound. So this is similar in sound, but the bass is a little bit, you know, not showing off. It's kind of out in the background a little bit, and the guitar rhythms and the drumming are obviously in the forefront, and then the vocals come in, and that's another focus. But I really dig the occult theme of this. They've really nailed it down. Now in the beginning, this reminded me of like trudging up a hill. You know, it's you get this awful climb, you know, of a battle that just is enraging, and you're trudging up this hill trying to get to the top. You know, it's kind of like a Hamburger Hill in Vietnam. You know, you kind of, all this shit is happening all around you, and you're just trudging to get up this hill, and madness is happening, and people are being, you know, killed. And then, you know, what happens when you die on the battlefield? Does your spirit go on? Does your spirit become an evil being and it just wants revenge, you know, kind of thing? So it's a lot of really cool aspects to this sound. It's I'm digging it. I like it. And this acoustic part that's happening right now, oh my god, it's fantastic. this I gotta add to this. This is a pretty long song, but there's so much to it. It changes every measure. There's something different happening. There's like these just mini stories happening. So this whole piece reminds me of like the afterlife. You during this battle, you're trudging uphill. You're facing the most crazy bullshit, and you can even imagine. And then at some point you're like, oh shit, you didn't make it. So now your spirit is leaving. The afterlife is there. You're questioning your entirety of existence, and maybe you meet your maker. Maybe you don't. Maybe you go the opposite way of upstairs versus downstairs. So this is a really cool vibe of the afterlife, and now it starts getting a little heavier here. This is great. What a great visionary experience here. And the slapping of the bass. Awesome. Awesome.
My blood froze forever.
Pretty epic. Wow, that was a song and a half, and then some. It was like 5 songs in one. It just kept going and going. It was changed up all the time. This fantastic tunes, fantastic writing. I mean, I can't even imagine that this guy started at 16 years old. Said, "Hey, you want to join a band?" It's 16, and then just takes off like no other I've ever heard in my life. Writing, composition, and I heard that during the rehearsals of this album, Ackerfeld would play in a closet, or just with no light, just so he could memorize what he was playing without having to look. That's some serious skill and determination and drive and just everything. So, fucking guys, I just envy people like that. So this whole theme of this song is really like what drives, what infects the mind of a person that's in a battle to bring harm to someone else. It seems like there's always something that, when you look at history and war and things like that, it's not typical of human behavior to really, try to kill someone else. It just goes against nature, and somehow when you're in a group mentality, that it then becomes okay. So something in your brain switches to just be okay with killing someone else. And I think that's part of the dilemma in this album, where you got a lot of switch ups, a lot of heavy, awesome melodic riffs, and a lot of evil tones, and the acoustic parts, where you're kind of having a debate with yourself of the things you've done, and maybe dying on the battlefield, you reflect upon yourself as, well, shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe that's the dilemma of being a soldier or someone in that realm, can do you have the will to kill another person and then be okay with it? That's the other part. So a lot of people have been tortured through history of the things that they've seen and the things that they've done in the name of protecting your country, so to speak. So this song reminds me a lot of wartime stories and feelings of just the shit that you have to go through, and then on top of it, you end up in hell because you were a sinner, you're a murderer, you didn't listen to your brain, something else infected it, and then there you have it. So what a cool tune. I'm really liking this album so far, even in their original sound. It's a little raw, it's a little rough around the edges, but overall, the writing, the composition, the change-ups, the chord progressions, the creativity involved in when to bring in acoustics, when to slap on the bass, when to bring, all this stuff is just happening, and the double bass is just killing it. And he's switched up a lot of different unusual beats that just are all throughout this entire song. So fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So thoroughly impressed so far, and this is the first song. So I can't wait to continue on. And until then, cheerio.